Hello, everybody. Once again, it's your girl Crystalcleareyes here, and I'm back with another video, another YouTube video for you guys. How you doing out there? Um, as usual, you guys know I always like to start my videos off by saying to anybody who's new here, the reason that I wear the mask is because I'm just an average citizen. I have no desire to be famous. I'm a mom. I'm a student. I'm taking business courses, studying business prep, business structure, business management, preparatory to opening my own business. I'm hoping to open a nonprofit here in my community to give back to my community within the next 5 years. So I really have no desire to be famous. I don't care about fame. I find it very boring. I really just want to start a conversation, get people thinking and talking together and communicating. So with that, let's jump right on into it. Today I definitely want to talk to you guys about something that I think affects us all. It affects us all on a national level. It affects us all on a local level. And it affects us all with regards to our families, our relationships, and people that are just involved in our lives, period. And I want to know what you guys thought about it. I'm talking about the habit that people have on all different kinds of levels, whether it's in your family, whether it's locally in the community, or whether it's on a national level, of basically selling checks that they can't cash. Well, what do I mean by that? I mean, look around in your life. Do you have people involved in your life, or people in your community, or people who are running the show in your country, in your government, that they tend to do this one thing over and over again? And do you know what it is? Here, I'm going to let you in on a secret. There are a lot of people who tend to say things that they never do. So for me personally, how I judge how truthful, how honest a person is, how I judge, you know, their character, you know, is based upon I listen to what they say and then I compare that with what they do. It's really simple. It's really simple to find out how honest people are, to find out whether they're just selling you a Brooklyn Bridge, and they really have no true intent to follow through on the things that they're telling you. That's what I do. I've been trained in journalism, you know, um, and so one of the things I do when I'm dealing with people, whether it's people in my personal life, whether it's people in the community on the local level, or whether it's watching what these people do on a national level who are, our so-called leaders leading us, I look at what they say and then I compare that to what they do. And that's how you begin to realize how honest people are and, whether or not they are really going to follow through on things that they say or whether they're selling you a crock of, horse manure, BS, bull crap, So I'm just wondering, do you guys have people in your lives or people in your communities that you have to deal with, you know, whether it's on a personal or professional level, or people in your countries who are leading you, your so-called leaders, and all they do is sell you a bill of goods on one end, and then when you look and you try to see does it measure up, it really doesn't. You know. Now let me keep it on me, and then we'll see. Do any of you guys identify with any of this stuff that I'm talking about? Now, I have friends, I have family, who I ultimately decided that the best thing for me to do was to love them from a distance. Which means, yeah, I still care about you. Yeah, I still love you. Yeah, I still have care and concern for you. But I'm going to do it from all the way back here, not right up front involved in your daily mess, you know. Because I found that in my life, people who have been involved with me and my family or close friends, even my best friend, you know, these are people who have consistently used me for their benefit. you know. I was more like a convenience to these people. I was more like a helpmate, a personal assistant, a chef, a bank, a bodyguard, a fireman to come and, rescue them from their own bad decisions and their own poor choices in their lives, you know. And I was never given that same courtesy or consideration, excuse me. I was never given that same courtesy or consideration, respect, care, concern with regards to my life or anything concerning me. So, what do I mean when I say that? Well, let me give you a couple of examples and see if it strikes a chord with anything that you may be experiencing in your own life. I have a best friend. I've known her for 40 years, since I was 12 and she was 13. And I've spent the majority of the time that we've spent together, and don't get me wrong, we've not spent the whole 40 years together. There's been times in between where she was off different parts of the country doing different things and so on. But the time that we have spent together has been spent consistently, me helping her out of her poor life choices in her life. And it's never been reciprocated, other than one time. I can recall one time in 40 years where she took time out of her life to come and assist me. And that was after, my marriage had broken up. And I was left with 2 small children. I have 4 total, but at that time, we're talking about the 2 youngest. And my husband just left, disappeared, said he was going to go to his parents' home. They own their own home in Brooklyn. He was going to help them and go clean up his room there because his mom insisted that he come clean up that room. And he left, and I didn't see or hear from him again for 4.5 months. And at that time, she did come down and help me, doing a few things for the kids when they were little. That was approximately 10, 11 years ago. And she hasn't done a thing for me since or before that. But I've done consistently a lot of things for her. I've put food in the refrigerator, I fed her, I saved her life from an abusive man that she was with. I gave her a place to live in my home when she wanted to get away from her abusive mom, at a discount. She had no food, no money for food, so I fed her for 2 weeks. She didn't have proper footwear, so I gave her 7 pairs of sneakers that were, too small for me. Someone had given them to me. They didn't fit me. They didn't fit my kids, so I gave them to her, I gave her slippers. I put money in her pocket, made sure that she was okay. And how did she repay me? By treating me like trash. Like very unimportant trash in her life, Same thing with family members. I don't know if you guys can relate to that as well. I've been doing for my family since I was, 7 years old. I've been being abused by my family since I was 6.5. That's when I first started being sexually abused in my family. I was sexually abused by 8 different family members and friends of family between the ages of 6 and 16, starting with my very own grandfather. Okay? And then I started working for my family when I was 7 years old. That's when I started babysitting my infant sister. My sister at the time was an infant less than 1 year old. And she was maybe about 6 months old. And I was babysitting alone at age 7. All during the same period of time where I was being abused by my family. Used by my family. And during all this period of time that I was being abused, physically abused by my mom, sexually abused by family members, and so on, no one in my family ever stepped in to do a thing about it. They didn't seem to care. They had zero care and concern for me. Very little. I won't say zero, but I'll say very little. And it continued on and on and on, all the way up until my adult life, when I finally got sick of it and said, you know what? I mean, if this is what you folks are going to do for me, friends, family, best friends, so on, if this is what you're going to do, bring me all of your problems, your drama, your issues, your situations that blow up in your face, that you need rescues from, you need a fireman for, all of the bad times, all of the bad memories, but none of the good times, none of the good memories. No one ever calls on me when, there's something good going on. Hey, let's include Crystal. But I'm always on speed dial. I'm always on speed dial when they have a problem. Do you have people in your family or in your life that do this to you as well? Well, here's my advice to you. Run. Love them from a distance if there's somebody that you care about. And if there's somebody that you really feel you can do without in your life, then run and get away from them. Period. Because these people will only use you and abuse you and drain you and give nothing back. They'll take, and give very little to nothing back. And what I found in these situations is that when you bring it to their attention, they're usually full of excuses, denials, or actually attitude and anger. Yeah. And will go so far as to either try to attack you. I don't mean physically. I mean like verbally attack you. Or to try and just completely cut you off and disconnect from you so they don't have to face the things that they've done. And I know I'm probably not the only person who's experienced things like this, So what I did, I decided, you know what? If you people are going to bring me nothing but problems, bad memories, and, issues to fix, but nothing good, I don't need you in my life. Snip, snip, snip. Thank you and goodbye, Now, that doesn't mean if they don't want to have an honest conversation and try to, communicate, maybe meet halfway or whatever the case may be and resolve an issue. Yeah, I'm open to that. But if not, yeah, okay. Thank you and goodbye. Now, let's move on to, for example, the national level. Do you find that when you look at your so-called leaders and you look at the promises that they've made to you during their campaigns while they were campaigning for office, and then you look and you see the things they're doing once they get into office, do you find them to be as full of it and full of crap as I do? I mean, it's a simple proposition. Look at the things they said to you prior to getting in office, the promises they made, and look at the things that they're prioritizing once they get in office. Like, for example, our new administration. There were a lot of promises made about putting Americans first. There were a lot of promises made about, we're going to get the economy back going. We've got a whole bunch of plans to handle the coronavirus, COVID-19. And then those were the words we were told prior to the election, right? Okay, now let's look at the actions that have been taken post-election, after he got into office. Okay. The first thing he did was make an announcement. There's really nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the COVID pandemic for the next few months. This is just how it's going to be. That's not what you said when you were campaigning. You were making all these promises about how you could do so much about the COVID problem that the previous President Trump wasn't doing. But yet, as soon as you get in office, then it's, oh, well, there's nothing I can do to change the trajectory for the next couple months. Sounds like a lie to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or, for example, making all these promises about doing things to stimulate the American economy, get people back to work, and so on and so forth. And then as soon as he gets into office, what does he do? Makes all these executive orders, many of which benefit illegals and foreigners. Gee, what's that doing for us Americans, I wonder? When you make executive orders to open the border and allow more people in without any real, concern about what sicknesses they may be carrying. What about their immunizations? Who are these people? We better check for criminal background. We better check and make sure these are not pedophiles or perverts. We want to make sure we're letting in people who are not coming to prey on the people who are already here. None of that's going on. It's just executive order after executive order, opening the border, reinstating catch and release so that when they come, then they're let into the community. Nothing in place for COVID testing or testing for any kind of diseases that could be detrimental to us. Nothing in place for checking their criminal background histories or whether or not they're perverts, pedophiles. Nothing. Just, you know what? Let them all in. And by the way, while we're doing that, let's take a look at what we're doing at the Capitol. Oh my goodness. Do you know what they're doing at the Capitol while they're doing all that? Oh, they had plenty of National Guardsmen there. They put up a wall there. I thought they didn't believe in walls. They had plenty of armed law enforcement there with plenty of guns to use on the people. Oh, but I thought you didn't believe in guns. So, guns for those in charge, walls to protect those in charge, and no guns for the American people. We don't want guns for the American people. Everybody seems to be against, guns. It's all about gun control, except for those in charge, if you notice. They're not concerned about any gun control for them or the people they want to keep safe, their friends, their family. But they do want to make sure that they put a lot of laws in place for gun control for you and I, average American citizens. And they don't want a wall in place to protect our border from Mexico. However, they do want a wall in place to protect the Capitol, protect their very important VIP selves. But not us. We're not VIPs, so I guess we don't need to be protected, huh? Yeah. So, I'm just looking at all this. All the things that are being said versus all the things that are being done. And you know what's amazing to me? This is the really amazing part. I'm sure you guys are going to laugh with me. Remember all of those celebrities? Remember all of those rich folks? All of the mainstream media? The talking heads on the daytime talk shows or the nighttime talk shows, all of those sports figures, rap figures, superstars, and rich folks who had so much to say and were so very vocal about the problems that they perceived with the previous administration. Where are those folks now? What do they have to say about all of this? Somehow it seems now they have nothing to say. Now it's time, all you silly sheep, go back to sleep. Everything's okay. No investigations necessary. What happened to all the investigations into our leader's family? Into his son? Into his brother? What happened to the investigation into Ghislaine Maxwell? What happened to all these investigations? Oh, I get it. Now that we have the Democrats in office, no investigations are necessary. Now investigations are necessary more than ever. Since you guys started it, I'm so glad you did. You wanted full investigations on everything with the Trump administration. I'm so glad you guys did that. That's perfect. Now, we want full investigations into everything, into every administration. Yeah. We want that same thoroughness into all future administrations, all of our congressmen, all of our senators, all of our presidents, everyone. Yeah. And it's very interesting to see what they think about that. Because if you look in the media, do you know what I noticed? The media was like The Rock on steroids when Trump was in office. And now they're more like little chihuahuas now. Accepting whatever scraps of interviews that they're given, and being told, all kinds of nonsense that they then report to the people like this is news, and they just avoid everything else. Yeah. Look around. Ask yourself, do you see the same scrutiny being given to the Biden administration as was given to the Trump administration? Do you see the same calls for action? We want action. We want justice right now. Do you see those same things happening? No. Now everybody's saying, go back to sleep, she. Nobody's even mentioned the fact that he said he can't do anything for the coronavirus. That's very different from what he said when he was campaigning. You mean to tell me not one of these mainstream media outlets from the New York Times, the Post, the Daily News, on and on, WAPO, the Washington Post, on and on and on and on. All of these, ABC, NBC, CBS, on and on, CNN, on and on. You mean to tell me none of them have noticed that? That he said he had such a, what was it, a 7-point plan to battle the coronavirus? And now he's saying within a week or two of being in office that he has no plan and that, there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the virus. That's just but one statement he made. That was completely different from what he promised. His actions, very different from his statement that he promised when he was campaigning. And nobody's mentioning it. Nobody's noticing it. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because they're complicit? Could that be the reason why? You got to ask yourself these questions. So, until next time, guys, I'd love to hear what you think about all of this. And especially from the Biden supporters, I'd love to hear from those guys. I'd love to hear how they feel he's doing with coronavirus. I'd love to hear how they feel he's doing with the economy. And I'd especially love to hear what they think about all the executive orders that he made, welcoming more illegals into this country while we have 40, almost 50 million people out of work, who they are then going to be competing with you guys for those jobs that you guys need. I'd love to hear from all of you Biden supporters, because I'm sure you're thrilled with all these things that he's doing that's benefiting you, right? And I'm sure you're going to show me with media coverage and links and before and after photos, all the things that Biden's doing for you guys and that he's done for you guys in the previous 47 years that he was in office. I'm sure he did a lot for you guys, right? Yeah. So, let's see it. I'm interested to see. I'd love to see the things he's done for your community, And I'd love some answers as to why in all this time he hasn't done anything for my community, New York City. I'd love some answers, Until next time, guys, remember, it's not the folks who are in your life. It's not the people who are in your life that are important. It's the people who can make a difference and make a difference in your life that are important. Until then, good luck and God bless.